sincerely, honored guests, we are fortunate, we are privileged to be here today. I've had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Robert Cardoza, and I've had the pleasure of working with him. And let me just say this, on a personal note, great family man, awesome human being, generous heart. Has really bent over backwards to help me and other people in the community. I can't thank you enough for the things that you and your family do for the community. But on a documented side, I've just made some quick notes here. Dr. Cardoza has a bachelor's degree in accounting, master's in business administration, and a doctorate in international financing. This guy has more plaques and more certificates than anybody I know. He was an executive vice president of sales and marketing for the entire United States for the Revlon Corporation for, I believe, 18 years. The man knows the walk as well as the talk. He has his own tax and accounting and estate planning business company. He's also a host of a national radio show, NBC affiliate, starting a new television show. I've had the pleasure of being interviewed on a show. This guy makes it smooth and easy. You definitely want to meet. You definitely want to listen. I would suggest you take very, very careful notes. I guarantee you're going to get nuggets from this gentleman when he speaks. And so without any further ado, and enough of me, I would like to have the honor of introducing Dr. Robert Cardoza to the front of the room.
You happen to be rich and you feel like a night's entertainment. You can pay for a big escapade. You happen to be rich and alone and you need a companion.
Okay, that's it. So how many of you really want to know how to create unimaginable success in any economy? You know, well, let's start with everybody standing up. Everybody, stand up. You guys are falling asleep here. Everybody, stand up. Including you. Everybody, nobody's safe. Now, everybody just kind of twist around a little bit. Put your hands together and clap. Yeah, that's just in case you don't like me later. I've always wanted a standing ovation. I get it right up front. So you can all sit down now. You know. So what really is success? You know, success is different to everyone. I heard a gentleman talking about rich and wealthy earlier. You know, from an accounting standpoint, rich is if you make more than $125,000 a year. It's nothing to do with wealth. Wealth deals with what your net assets are. What do you have regardless of your income? So you decide what success is all about, but I can tell you how to get it. It's not to go someplace and beg people to do business with you. It's finding out how you can help people be successful. You know, Donald Trump said that the secret of success is luck. You know what the definition of luck is? It's when preparation meets opportunity. You make your own luck. It doesn't just happen. And for anybody that's out there that's feeling safe, I'm going to be walking throughout the room here today. So if you're asleep, I might nudge you, pinch you, pull your ear, you know, steal your water, do any one of a number of those things. But you got to think about what it is that makes you successful. What makes you special? What makes you special? It's you. That's what makes you special. The most important person in your life that you've got to deal with every single day is that person that you see in the morning in the mirror. It's you. It's all about attitude. It's what do you want out of life? What are you going to do? And you got to build that psychological attitude right away. And then it becomes exposure and reputation. And who's the best guy out there? Who knows me? What makes you better than the guy down the hall or the guy down the street or the guy down in another city? And you got to build that reputation. It's all about image. Image is everything. You know, I remember not that far back when we had double-digit interest rates. Do you remember who's the lender that's in here? Remember the double-digit interest rates? Yeah. Did you still make loans? Yeah, you did. And how about the people that lost their homes in foreclosures? Anybody know any of those people? Sure you do. The realtors that are in here, did you sell any homes when you were doing those short sales? Did you sell any homes to people that wanted to buy new homes? Sure you did. And what happened? They didn't just cry about what was going on in the economy. They said, what can I do to overcome this challenge? They started with the person in the mirror. I was going to say the man in the mirror, but the person in the mirror. What can I do to make me successful? And you find that formula. And you know what it's going to break down to? It's going to break down to relationships. It's going to break down to you doing your homework. It's going to break down to you studying to find out what the marketplace needs. If you're doing the same thing that everybody else around you is doing, don't expect to do any better than they're doing. It just can't happen. So how do you get exposure? I'll tell you one of the places, right here at RBN, Relationship Building Network. I was talking to Joseph about a week or so ago, and I was saying to him that I couldn't understand anyone that would join RBN that wouldn't be going to every single one of their programs. You got that yellow sheet in front of you. I picked it up here. I'm looking just in the very near future. You've got Seacliff Country Club coming up. You got the Capitol Grill coming up. You got right here at Mission Viejo Country Club. By the way, I'm privileged to speak here twice. You guys may not remember it, but I was here last month, or I was supposed to be anyway. And so I'm here again, so you owe me twice as much, Joseph. And then we have the RBM Major Business Expo. How many of those things are you going to go to? This one because you live close to Mission Viejo? You know, I look at RBN the same way I look at having a bowl in front of me full of $100 bills. Why on earth would you want to just take out one bill when you could have it all? Do you really think that the people you go to Huntington Beach to meet are the same ones you're going to see here? Probably not. And if you're here because you want to build relationships and you want to network and you want to do business with a lot of people, why would you not take advantage of all of those people you have not yet met? I don't understand it. How many of you in here have a smartphone? Yeah, you all have a smartphone. I don't care if it's an iPhone or a BlackBerry or whatever they call them. We all have them today. In my hand, in your pocket, you hold more power than the power that put Neil Armstrong on the moon and brought him home safely. And do you use it to its fullest extent? I don't know. Let's see what I can do here, just for the sake of making an example. There's got to be a way. There it is, right there. So I'm going to turn around, turn my back to you for just a moment. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to hold that camera up, and I'm going to take a picture. And when you go to look at my website in the next day or two, you're going to see that picture with me in it, and all of you in it. How many of you ever been to a function where you were featured, you had an opportunity to speak? Every one of you did that today. Somebody should be taking a picture of you with that microphone and all these people behind you. Because what did it do? It gave you some credibility, didn't it? And you can put whatever tag you want under it, huh? And whether it be the attorney over there that's saving the guys that can't stand on their own 2 feet, or if it's the bookkeeper over there that keeps you out of that Federal Resort, or if it's the realtor that gives you the home of your dreams, all of you need some kind of exposure. Why wouldn't you use that tool? And every single person in this room at one time or another has had some client or some patient or someone that just thought they were God, that they walked on water. They couldn't believe what they accomplished for them. I've heard you guys talking about how good you are and all the things that you've done for the people you represent. How about testimonials? You've all got all that power. So I don't care where you're at, if you're in a restaurant, if you're in a meeting, if you're in your office, if you're on a boat, if you're in a bar, if you're just waiting for the attorney, and somebody is saying, wow, you are so fantastic, hold that thought. Because these things do videos too, with sound. Do you think they're going to come back and give you that testimonial? Do you think you're going to take the time to round it up and do it? Do it right then and there. Get that phone out of there, put it on video, videotape that person giving you that testimonial, and for gosh sakes, put it on your website. Put it on a DVD. Put it someplace where you've got people selling you, not you selling you. Whenever you walk up to somebody's door, the first thing they're going to do is kind of back off a little bit, right? Because they know you want to sell them something. You want to get into their pocket. But when somebody else says that you're the best that they've ever had, or that you made their day, or you saved their lives, or you kept them out of jail, you overcome a lot of challenges in life. So it's all about reputation. Let me tell you a little story about reputation. It's about these 3 little Italian boys. And, you heard this story?
No.
Are you Italian? Do you want to be? Anyway, 3 little Italian boys. And no matter what happens in their neighborhood, these little guys are at the bottom of it. These guys are controlling the neighborhood. Now, they're not all that old. One kid's 14, one kid's 12, and one kid's 7. But they're brothers. And the mother doesn't know what to do. She's a single mother raising these 3 kids, and they're putting together their own little mafia. She goes to the local parish and goes to talk to Father Kelly to tell Father Kelly all the problems that she's having. And Father Kelly says, well, look, have the boys come down to the church on Saturday, have them go into the confessional, I'll take care of this. And so she does. Now, the boys, they're pretty tough. They got their own minds. They don't want to go. They're figuring, if they kill mom, they don't have to go see the priest. That's one way out, but they're a little afraid of that. Off they go. And the other 2 boys, being older, push little Giuseppe, who's the youngest 7-year-old, into this confessional. Never been in a confessional before in his life. Maybe you haven't. It's the size of a small closet. And when you kneel down, the lights go out. Well, that scared the hell out of little Giuseppe all by itself. And not only did the lights go out, but this little door opens. And little Giuseppe's just shaking. He's scared to death. And Father Kelly's on the other side, and he knows who's in there. And he says, where's God? Oh, he's 7 years old. He's pointing up. He doesn't know what to say. And Father Kelly says, I said, where is God? And he starts to stammer and stutter and all those things. And finally, Father Kelly gets upset, and he slams his fist down on the chair he's sitting on. And he says, Giuseppe, I said, where is God? And with that, Giuseppe jumps up off his knees, out of the confessional, out of the church. His 2 older brothers are just racing after him to catch him. They grab him, and they're shaking him by the shoulder, saying, Giuseppe, Giuseppe, what's the matter? What's the matter? And he looks at his other 2 brothers, and he says, what's the matter? Are you kidding? God's missing him. They're going to pin it on us. It's all about reputation, right? It's all about reputation. And you have this power that's sitting there, and the problem is you can't see the forest because the trees are in the way. What a great opportunity. So we were talking about smartphones and cell phones and some of the things you can do with that. I mean, gosh, also iPads or notebooks, the things that you can do with that. You can turn your iPhone or your BlackBerry or your iPad or your notebook into a movie studio. Did you know that? Very inexpensively. So write this down, hdhat.com. Now, hdhat.com, you can go there and you can buy, for a matter of fact, for $99, you can get these wireless level-lower mics that work on your smartphone, so that when you are actually videotaping someone, you can be in that picture and they can hear you. You don't have to be all wired up. They have this little platform, plastic platform, that you can put a tripod on, and you can put lighting on it, and you can put the wireless mic on it. You can set it there, and you can go in there and you can do your own video, your own show. For your realtors, this thing is stable, and you can take videos of the properties that you're showing. For the attorney, he can take a video of the client that's walking out from the cell with a smile on his face and a check in his hand, right? It's all right there. And you think about money. Well, you know what? You don't need to be thinking expensively. You just need to be thinking smart. You can buy that entire movie studio for like $300. You can get the platform, you can get the tripod, you can get the whole thing. Look it up, it's right there. Why wouldn't you use the tools you already have? Why wouldn't you get those testimonials? Why wouldn't you plaster your face everywhere you possibly could and be heard everywhere you possibly could? I have a good friend that I met when I was broadcasting with NBC, and he forever was writing these columns, writing these opinions about things that were going on, and sending them to the Washington Post. And I kept saying to him, why are you wasting your time with that? And one day I get a phone call and he says, Bob, they published it. And I said, so? It's an international paper. And I now get to say that I've been published in the Washington Post. Was it worth the effort? Sure. I'm not so sure that he wasn't just sending carbon copies every week. Or, I'm aging myself. How many of you know what carbon is in here? So basically, that's the kind of exposure you need. You can go to your local paper and say, hey, I want to do a weekly column. And they distribute that whole thing. Now, they may not pay you for doing the column, but they love to have the content. They love to have the expert. Did you hear that word? The expert. You become the resident expert for that paper. And everybody now is looking at you as that resident expert. You're writing that weekly column. You're not getting anything from the newspaper, but what is happening? You're getting emails and your phone is ringing. You need to establish yourself as a cut above. That's how you beat the economy. You establish yourself as a cut above. You go anywhere you can go and don't pass up the opportunity of visibility. That's what it's all about. And always, always know what separates you from the other guy. I used to introduce myself as a business proctologist. It's a dirty business, but somebody's got to do it, right? But there's no question in your mind that what I used to do for businesses. So you guys all have that hook that's sitting there. But how are you using it? How effectively are you using it? Do you all have a website? Hopefully you do. In today's environment, if you don't have a website, you're not legitimate. You're not in business. How many of you are putting a written blog on your website? How many of you have professional videos that you have done on your website? Not many, huh? So what do you think people are going to do when they come across your website? Are they going to take the time to read that entire blog, or do you think they'll push that little arrow button and listen to what you have to say about yourself and your company? And how long do you think they would wait before they move on? So you need to be aware of the time. I asked someone the other day to write a bio for themselves that they could use for an introduction. By the time you got done with the bio, there'd be no time for the talk. You need to be short and concise. And the time that people spend on the internet, the time they spend on your website, if you don't grab them right away, you might get 3 minutes. You grab them with that video, you might get 30 minutes. So you need that video. And we've already told you how you can do it yourself. But there are a lot of people that are just a little shy. They're not sure how to go about it. And they need help. And it's not just with the video, because where I was leading was to AHA Studios with this new promotion. I want you to stop by at the door on the way out, and he's got a brochure and a DVD that he can give you that'll tell you all about it. I'm all excited about it because I'm involved in it. But the big secret there? The big secret is having someone who has interviewing talent. Maybe you just kind of stumble when you're trying to talk about your business or talk about yourself, where that interviewer can just bring and draw that all out of you. And if you can do it as though you were on the set of a TV show, that gives you even more credibility with all of your clients. Where you been? Where are you? Where are you going? It's important. And if you can do it yourself, you can do it yourself. Let's go back to the internet again. There's a program in apps, it's in the iPhone apps, I don't know if it's got to be in the other ones too, and it's called VisiWig. Have you ever heard of VisiWig? VisiWig is an editing program. It costs less than $10. And you only have to buy it once. You can put it on your iPad, put it on your iPhone. You can take these videos. After the fact, you can edit them. You can put in music. You can do anything you want to do. Cut out the garbage and leave the good stuff in there. Less than $10, and it couldn't take you that long to learn it, to have something out there. If you can't afford to have a professional help you, then do it that way. But you know what? Be critical. Make sure you're putting your best foot forward. VisiWig.com. It's there. Use it. It's really, really good. There are so many things that are available for you. The problem is that you're so busy knocking on people's doors saying, I need you to do business with me, that you've forgotten that the way to get them to do business with you is to have them referred to you by someone else. And that happens over the internet. It happens with those testimonials. It happens with direct mail. And it happens because you have set yourself aside in front of the media, whether it be on newspapers or radio or television. All those opportunities are there. How many of you have actually called a station and said, hey, I have something new and unique. I've got something that no one else is doing. I would love the opportunity for you to make this available or at least to let people know about it on your station, whether it be a radio station or a television station. Anybody done that? Did it work?
Haven't heard back yet.
Have you given up?
Nope.
That's my man. Don't ever give up. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing that is probably a secret. I'm going to get in trouble for doing it, but Yosef called me and asked me to lunch a week or so ago. And he said, I would like to create something for the members of RBN. Something that's unique and something that's really not being done today. And we talked and talked and talked, and I want to tell you, he's a dynamic man. He knows more about marketing than most of us have forgotten. It's just unbelievable, and you've got to tap it, which is why you've got to go to these meetings. And what we came up with is that we're going to have some kind of a raffle, and that Yosef is going to provide for me in my show, my radio show and my television show, about 20 people a month, different businesses that we're going to highlight. You're going to get an opportunity to get on a national program, whether it be television or radio, and you're not going to have to sweat the same bullets that this man over here is doing. And the radio show is worldwide. The television show is national. What a great opportunity. And then you're going to find out what makes the phone ring. You know why? Because publicity, which is what that is worth 100,000 times paid advertising. So what could any one of you do with $100,000? And the publicity costs you nothing. That's why I say get on the newspaper, write something into a magazine. Do the best things. Do I need that? No. Do the best that you can. That's the most important thing. That's where you're at. The last thing you need to do, or the second to the last thing, is always, always, always look for that professional in an area that you're just sort of stumbling with. Don't do something you're not good at. That doesn't make you any money. Do what you're really good at. That's what makes you money. And hire the guy that is a professional in the area that you're not so good at. My feeling is every professional should make you more money than they cost you. If they don't use them. And the last thing you need to do, the very last thing, can you guess? You need to consult with that person in the mirror. Thank you. Thank you.